Hi, Peter Dingle here, PhD. I'm not a medical doctor, I'm a researcher, and that's all I do. Today I want to talk about proton pump inhibitors for reflux. So these are main drugs that you take for reflux, and coronavirus, because a study just out demonstrated what I've been talking about for a long time, is that the taking of these proton pump inhibitors, these are the ones that stop the acid production in the stomach. Okay, and these proton pump inhibitors double, if you take one a day, it doubles, in fact 2.3 times, your chances of getting coronavirus. Wow, hold on. This is huge because these are some of the most widely used pharmaceuticals around the world. If you take two a day, it triples, in fact 3.6 times your susceptibility to coronavirus. So 3.6 times your risk of getting coronavirus. So what they're showing is that they're taking of these drugs that many people are on. In fact, there are two different main types, but these are the major types for reflux. Check out the package, what you're on. And the reality is, we know why. We know why. At least I know why. So the study is very clear. And what makes it so clear, because a lot of people are saying, oh, it's just a study, first study, is that it had a dose-response relationship. So the less of the drug you took, the less of the susceptibility. The more you took, as it increased, the more susceptibility. This is a really good indicator that this is a key factor in here. So let's go back to the reasons why. First of all, proton pump inhibitors for reflux have serious side effects. You get the idea? Serious side effects. Everything right through to multiple types of cancers, and they're just a crazy drug to be on. But what they do is they stop the production of acid in your stomach. So the first thing you have to realize is acid in your stomach is essential for digestion. It's essential as a protective barrier, and it's essential as a trigger to send messages into your body, along your digestive tract in particular, to start working properly. So all of a sudden, all these things are mucked up because you're no longer producing enough acid to digest. So let's go to the first thing. If you're producing acid, it acts as a barrier to all the microorganisms in the world out there. So everything you breathe in, they don't just go into your lungs, because once they're cleared out of your lungs, and they go directly into your stomach. So that is a major breeding ground for microorganisms if you've got low stomach acid. If you've got a high stomach, if you've got strong stomach acid, a pH of 2 to 3, then it breaks down the microorganisms. And the studies have repeatedly shown that just a short time on these drugs, for a week or so, ends up with an increased microbial growths in your small intestine and the wrong type of microbes in your large intestine. So it shows that the toxic ones like Clostridia and some of the Staphylococcus, the nasty ones, and the Staphylococcus, some of those nasty ones in those varieties get through into the small intestine and large intestine. In the small intestine, they contribute to SIBO, small intestinal bacteria overgrowth. In the large intestine, they contribute to lots of the inflammatory bowel diseases, leaky gut, etc. So the first thing is, these allow the microorganisms to get in there. Second, they do, if you've got a low stomach acid, you don't have enough acid in your stomach, you cannot digest the proteins. So your proteins are breaking into amino acids, and these amino acids do everything in your body. They keep you alert, happy, smiling. They function. They're your enzymes. They're even enzymes to digest the food. So everything runs on these amino acids and proteins. But you can't break them down unless you've got a pH of 2. And these proton pump inhibitors stop it. So we've got as a result, by the way, you end up with more proteins going through into your large intestine that are undigested, and usually as a result really stinky, smelly. I won't even go into it. However, the negative side effect of all that is that these the chemicals, the proteins that get through into the large intestine that aren't broken down, also when they are broken down, produce toxins. Now, we're not talking fiber here, we're talking about the proteins that should have been broken down in the stomach and small intestine, and they're not. So they get through there. So we've got a whole raft of issues. Now let's come back to coronavirus, because what happens is, if you're letting the microorganisms get through into your stomach and into your small intestine and large intestine, that's where your immune system is. So there's a couple of possible mechanisms here. That's where your immune system is located, in your large intestine. So all of a sudden, you've got what we call dysbiosis in your large intestine, which means your immune system, which is coordinated through there, 70-80% of your immune system is in your large intestine, can't actually function, can't actually run properly. So all of a sudden, your immune system is going, well, how do I fight off a virus in the lungs? How do I fight off a virus anywhere in my body? And what we do know is that there's a clear link between the gut microbiome and your susceptibility to respiratory viruses. In fact, there are studies out there showing taking probiotics for your large intestine, it benefits your immune system fighting off viruses. They show also antibiotics, the opposite, do the exact opposite and increase your vulnerability. So we've got that first part. Now, the second part here is that when you cause dysbiosis in the large intestine, we've also got what's called the gut-lung axis. And they know that once they've got dysbiosis down here, it affects your respiratory microbiome, and your respiratory microbiome is what literally protects you up in the respiratory system directly. So all of a sudden you've got a dysbiosis, not caused by the virus in your lung, but by getting down in here and then literally bringing the feedback up into your lungs, and as a result having this dysbiosis or your microbiome in your lungs, which you do have, being upset and not being able to function properly as a protective barrier and as a positive stimulant in your immune system. So we've got these different mechanisms working through the dysbiosis caused by proton pump inhibitors. Now, one other potential mechanism there is that when you're on these drugs for any length of time, you are nutrient depleted. Because you're not digesting the proteins and amino acids, and you're not digesting or you're not releasing the minerals from the foods, you're also nutrient depleted. So there's all these, as a result, if you're nutrient depleted, your immune system can't work properly. It runs on nutrients. Everything runs on nutrients. And I've been reading lots and lots, hundreds of studies over the last month about coronavirus and nutrition and gut health and so on. And so it comes back to a basic. These proton pump inhibitors are major problems for coronavirus and lots of other side effects. See the blogs I've actually put up on proton pump inhibitors, but the list of side effects continues to grow. What we need to do is rebuild our gut. Now, if you're on these drugs and you want to do something about it, well, we're running a Zoom program on reflux solutions. Yes, there are solutions to reflux and LPR. How do we know? I've reviewed more than 1,500 studies, and we've worked with dozens and dozens of people. And sometimes the solutions are really simple, and I want to share them with you on the Zoom program. So check out the link, check out our Zoom program. There is a solution to reflux. I hope this has helped you. At the end of the day, the only one who can look after your health is you. Good luck, guys, and there is a solution.